What's up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine. We're at NAB 2026, and we're getting ready to check out the booths. We're here in Central Hall. I just got done listening to Renee Ritchie talk about YouTube and answered a lot of the questions. I had a couple questions myself. We've got some great stuff here. We're going to take a walk around. This is Central Hall. We're going to take a walk around and see what we've got, and we're going to do that next. Sometimes I wish the bands that I record were this small and make things a lot easier and make these cameras really cool too. We're at the Sony booth, and this is just basically a proof of concept right here. They have several different Sony cameras in their, basically showing off their monitor and control system. That's through this app right here. It's all wireless, and the idea is it's not going to do any type of panning or tilting of the camera or anything like that. But what it will do is it will allow you to figure out and make any adjustments on the fly. So like for instance, right here, you notice how it's focusing on this drummer right here, but we can set this up to actually focus over here or change any of the settings, any of the iris or the color or anything like that. So we can have these shots and in one fell swoop and bring that from there. So that's what this is all about over at the Sony booth. They have several different products here. Of course, this app is monitor and control. Okay, there we go. And monitor and control allows you for Sony cameras. If you don't have a Sony camera, you can't use it. But if you are running Sony cameras, you'll at least be able to get the look, color match, and everything set up for whatever you're doing, whether you're recording a band or you're recording a speech or anything like that. All right, check this out. This is, we're back, we're still in the Sony booth right here. This is the Sony's integrated Android solutions for longer live streams. And this is one of their camera solutions for something like portable data. It's basically a portable data transmitter. It's the PDT-FP1. It's a data transmitter monitor, Android 5G IoT device, supported wide range of wireless technologies. And that will show that right there. So it's got a versatile connectivity, HDMI input, 2x USB-C, and LAN. It runs Android OS for custom app implementation, Optimum connectivity platform for proprietary connectivity platforms, and incorporates features that empower creators capture. So they're showing it in this F1 car and what it can do. And so if you're watching, let's say, the Daytona 500, which is coming up shortly, you'll be able to see stuff like this inside of cars. So what they're doing, of course, this is a staged area inside the Sony booth. They're basically a little pool hall right here. But it gives people an opportunity to take a look at cameras that they don't get to play with. Like, for instance, this one right here, which is the HDC P50A camera. So basically what this is a 4K 2/3 inch global shutter CMOS with a 4K HDR resolution. It's got 8x high frame rate. It's got up to 4K 2x per camera head and up to a 6x HFR from the camera head. ST2110 direct output interface. See, there's many different types of cameras. We'll go right down the line over here. You'll see, basically, we'll bring it down. So you have controllers, we have different big cameras, small cameras, PTZ cameras, all the different types of cameras right here through this whole list. Like right in front here, we have the HDC 3500RV for more TV production type stuff. But then you can really focus in on it. And we've got like a little monitor down here that you can see how that's he's moving that around and getting the shot. So it's a great way to play with cameras that aren't out yet, with cameras that are out, and you're trying to figure out where you're going to be going with your production from here on out. All right, check this out. I've used Epidemic sound for many years, and it's great to put into YouTube videos or create content. Now they've got a lot of AI options in here, and we're going to start with this right here. You got the assistant right here. So basically, if you've used ChatGPT, if you use Gemini, it's pretty much the same. You can ask questions. You can say, I got a video. I want to do this. I want to do this. It makes suggestions for music. It doesn't make AI music, but it makes suggestions from its playlist as to what to do. They also have in the labs here, they have a studio and an adapt option. So if we open the studio option, basically if you upload a video, so you hit the upload video, and of course you put a video into here. When that happens, it gives you suggestions and it'll put it into a timeline. So like for instance, let's say this is your video right here. So it puts it in a timeline. So as you can see, we got general through the trees and the waterfall power. It's all through headphones, so you won't be able to hear it. But you get the idea. Then you can kind of take this and move this around or whatnot, change it out if you don't feel that that's the right audio. But it does give you some extra suggestions. So that's through the studio. And then we have the adapt. With the adapt, and this is all in production and beta right now. So with this, you can actually move things around. So let's say you want a longer chorus, or let's say there's a solo area and you want to have a little bit longer solo area because you're going to duck it down, somebody's going to talk over there, something like that. Then that's where all of this will come in to help you put this all together for your videos. And that's over at Epidemic Sound. It's a monthly subscription fee, pay as you go. We're over at the HP booth, and of course we're taking a look at some of the ZBooks for the 2026 area. This is the ZBook XG2i 16-inch mobile workstation PC. It's got up to the Core Ultra 9 386H chip in there. GPU is up to NVIDIA RTX Pro 3000 Blackwell, and of course up to 64 gigabytes of DDR5, and storage of up to 4 terabytes of Gen 5 NVMe M2 storage. So this is perfect for doing some video editing on the go. It's a lot smaller than the one I have, that's for sure. And it definitely has the power to do small streams or, of course, any type of post-editing while you're on the go in a show like NAB. Of course, if you need a little bit more beef into your laptop, this looks more like the machine that I have, weight and everything like this. But this is the ZBook Fury G1i 18-inch mobile workstation PC. It's got a Core Ultra 9 285H CPU in there. NVIDIA RTX Pro 5000 Blackwell GPU. Memory up to 192 gigabytes of DDR5, 90cc memory, and storage up to 16 terabytes of Gen 4 NVMe M2 SSD. So what I do with mine is I do a lot of capture from a capture device. And of course, so it's basically 8 channels of video that I then have to bring into a Premiere or a DaVinci and do a mix down to something that looks a little bit presentable for production. And a workstation like this works really well. But they also have the desktops if you need something with a little bit more beef and you don't need to have the portability of the laptop. And that's these right here. We're going to start with this one, which is the Fury G6i workstation desktop PC. You can see we've got a few video cards in here, dual fans, and a lot more. It has a CPU up to an Intel Xeon 698X processor, memory up to 2 terabytes, and storage up to 104 terabytes. So that's perfect for any type of production machine, especially for video editing or anything. If you don't need that much power or you need something else, let's take a look at these smaller stations here, including the AI station. This is the H Nano AI station, which is just basically a Blackwell super chip in there, DGX OS and NVIDIA AI software, and of course 128 gigabytes of coherent unified system memory. Then right here we have an H remote controller system. That's right here. So it's the world's most advanced remote control management peripheral. That's the box, as you can see. So not much to it. It monitors and manages workstation fleet without compromising control from a single interface. So this can be put into a warehouse. And then, of course, we have the mini workstation PCs over here from the G1A and the G1i. Look good and perform better from Neewer. This gives you a more natural look on camera. The Neewer Teleprompter app is a professional auto cue application designed for teleprompter users. And yeah, you see me down there. So that's me right there, but that's the teleprompter. This is actually a pretty cool little system. This is the X17 Teleprompter X17 II. And of course, we've got the lights around it. We've got a display monitor so you can see yourself. There's an iPad right here. A little trick, I don't use iPads for a lot of my teleprompters. I'll use a portable monitor, and then I'll have a laptop next to me. It gives me a lot more functionality. Yeah, I can definitely use this with the remote control. Works really well. But there's different ways that you can use this, of course. Put it on a stand, have it all set up. You don't need to use it for scripts, but you could use it for Zooms. So you can look right into somebody's eye and say, hey, I understand what you're saying. We need to talk about this or whatever. Or if you're just doing some scripts, then you have your confidence monitor right there. You can get that all queued up, and then you can actually talk your scripts. I do a lot of scripting through a teleprompter. And what I like about this, if you're using the iPad, is all the versatility as to using this. We can pause it, we can start it, we can move it around, we can change the font on the fly, and a lot more. So this is the Neewer X17 II by Neewer, N-E-E. Of course, I've talked about Neewer a long time. I have several different lights from them. We've talked about many different products from them, from miniature cameras to rigs to whatever. We're here at the OBSBOT booth. Got some new stuff here from OBSBOT. Of course, is PTZ cameras from the Tiny, from the Tail 2 that I have recording from right now. We've got the Tail Airs. They got some new products out here, including the Tiny 3 and the Tiny 3 Lite, and then of course the new Talent 2, which we're going to take a look at in a second. But let's take a look at these little guys right here. If you had a quarter, you would be impressed on how big that quarter looks to this camera. So this is the Tiny 3. And then over the computer here is the Tiny 3 Lite. Not too many differences. This performs a little bit better. It doesn't have the mount like this one because it's got a 1/4 inch mount. So you can mount it to a tripod or anything like that. And they do have mounts for the Tiny 3. So you can put this one over your computer if you want to, your monitor or whatever. But it has the ability options. It's got the AI options. So if you're walking around like I do and you want to have AI take care of it, you just press a button and then it moves around with you, which is great. And a lot more. And as you can see, we can't kind of see it through the video. And you can keep in mind there's going to be a little bit of a delay when I'm talking, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see that. But the whole idea is that's what it's going to look like. And this is from the Tiny 3. The Tiny 3 Lite video is down there. But as you can see, it's from there. And it's all from the OBSBOT booth. And we can see what's going on here. There's other products. Let's go ahead and take a look at those. This is the OBSBOT Talent 2 all-in-one multi-cam live streaming production studio. We have the Talent. I've done a video on the Talent. You can find that over at Geekazine. This is not out yet. But as you can see, there's a few noticeable differences. The big one is we have Wi-Fi up on the top and we have 5G up on the top. So if you do want to put in a card, and you guys also offer bonding for this type of stuff. So you can connect it up to Ethernet. You can connect it up to 5G and have failover. You can connect it up to Wi-Fi and have failover as well. Wi-Fi 6 connections as well. And of course, you can use the Tiny and the Meat series like I've done with my shows. Hook up an external display. You have more inputs from here. Looks like we have a lot of the stuff on the bottom. So there's Ethernet right there. HDMI's are right here. There's 2 outputs down here. The 1/4 inch mounts up here, which is interesting. And so we have the HDMI's. Wow, there's 4 HDMI's on here. So you can hook up 4 different cameras. That's awesome. We got the TF card over here. Well, it looks like a USB-C and then audio in and out and a lot more. Of course, with the power, runs on the batteries as well. So once again, this is not out yet. So this is the first look of the Talent 2. And there's no time frame just yet, no price point just yet. Just watch Geekazine and I'll give you all the information when I have it. All right, we're over at the Elgato booth and we're talking about buttons and bit focus. Bit focus buttons version 1.6, of course, with Elgato. They came out with these new Stream Decks. This is of course, the regular 32-button Stream Deck, but then this is meant for enterprise users. So these are rack-mounted Stream Deck buttons, 32 on the side, if I remember correct. and a couple extra options. There's a lot more you could do with it. And of course, so BitFocus, which has Companion, which I use a lot for my productions, has come out with BitFocus buttons. Now, this system is a little bit different than the BitFocus Companion, because BitFocus Companion is really meant for those that are one-man band type things. But this is meant for enterprise. This is meant for controlling a lot more. And you can even control regular Companion with BitFocus buttons. So it's meant for enterprise, but many different people are using it for a lot of production. And being able to do it from your home, especially if you're doing production from your home, doing remote, then this is where it goes. And of course, as you can see, it's very straightforward. You put down something, you set it up, and then of course you create nodes to go from there. So in this case, it's an NFC reader that goes to a display and a display string. So they'll click on their the NFC, and then you will get a string coming from there. Many different things. We got flow, we got position swap, we got slideshows. You can add connection variables, connection actions, and feedback, and just expand this out. So this could be more than just that. So as you can see, I could put something right there, maybe a module that tells me if this is all sevens that I won $1 million. I don't know. Maybe not that, but you get the idea that we can completely customize this for whatever we want. So we've got buttons up on the top of the screen right here. So we got a small button, so you can program these. And then we got positions for user interfaces for single operator, and we can create a new position. We'll just call it JH. And then of course we have that right now. Now we can edit it out, and then we can put that into our button system. And then we that basically can control what I just created right there. So this is a very awesome, different way to create different types of plots and plans for your BitFocus, for your companions. And it doesn't have to be the rack mount. You can do for the Stream Deck, the new Stream Deck, or anything like that. And that's what's pretty cool about it. This is actual full Elgato desk right here, and it includes that new Stream Deck with dials. So we got 36 buttons up here. We've got a touch screen here, which we can program. We've got dials down here, which we can program. And of course, if you want to add more, now I have the Corsair, one of the Corsair keyboards that gives me 6 buttons that then goes into Elgato to control it. But this is 12 buttons, 2 dials, and of course, I don't know if this is a touch screen or not. No, it doesn't look like a touch screen. So I can do what I need to do down here. It looks like they've got some sort of soundboard set up, because what we're seeing right here, you haven't seen the rest of it. This is a full podcast desktop, possibly right here. So what we have here, we got the everything's Elgato, from the lights, not the computer, of course, because we got the Elgato arm, and of course the microphone. We got 2 microphones, one on the desktop, one on the arm. We got one of the wireless mice from Corsair. We've got the Wave XLR, as you can see here. I'm talking through it, and of course we're seeing the levels, which I can easily change. And this is pretty cool. This little side monitor thing is great for if you're a coder, or if you're maybe you put up your tweets or X's or whatever you want to call it now, and do a lot of production. But this is a great production desktop, not only for the podcaster, but if you're doing remote production for podcasts, video stuff, or whatnot, you have all your buttons in a row. And of course, it starts with this guy right here. And I want to take one home with me. I really want one. Can I have one? Can I get one? All right. It looks like that Panasonic has been embracing the wrestling theme that also is happening here in Vegas. So they've got a little display of a guy wrestling, of course. And they're showing off a couple different things here. The monitor is by Lilliput, but it's all about this little guy right here. This is their little joystick switcher. It's the AWUE 150A 4K integrated cameras. So you have the ability to monitor, and I'll bring this back up here so you can see me moving the joystick around. I can bring it in, bring in the face, bring it back out, so far. And the joystick's actually pretty cool. because it's just a joystick with a couple buttons, and the zoom button's down here, and then there's a back button, which I believe is more programmable for anything that you need. So this is one of the cameras that we're working on right here, one of the P cameras. So as you can see, it does a pretty decent job in getting everything going. Now, multiple buttons on this guy, so we can do some switching here. So that was one scene. We'll go back to P1. I just push the button. There it is, P2. You get it. You can program those buttons. And then, of course, the touch screen right here. So we can say basic track, group cam control, lens. So we can do a zoom and work from there. So when I go pushing buttons, that'll instantly do that. So several other cameras from Panasonic, like this guy right here. This is more of a put your camera in, and then of course you turn it into a PTZ camera head. And of course, multiple joysticks all around. So when you have your wrestler that you need to get in a shot, there you go. You have that right there. Check this out, PTZOptics. This is their broadcast camera. It's not out yet. There's no specs on it. There's no price on it. This is just a prototype. But look at how it's just a basic monster. Expected to do 4K, 60 frames a second. But once again, all of this is subject to change. So we can look at the back here. And as we can see, we've got some XLR cables. We've got HDMI. We got SDI options. And then multiple Ethernet options, and an SFP if you want to plug fiber in there, LAN PoE, of course, USB 3.0. It's got a mini SD card in there, so you'll probably be able to record to the unit. It's got everything but the battery in the kitchen sink. But of course, we've talked about that PowerLink. I would guess that PowerLink would be a good combination for both of these. So once again, there is no other information from what you see here, what I just said. And of course, it's all subject to change because this is a prototype from PTZOptics. Pretty decent looking camera that you have many different options for that high-end broadcast that you're trying to do. The PTZOptics booth, and check this out. This is the PowerLink. And what this is basically a router for your camera. So let's say your camera, you're doing sports shots, you're doing some other shots, and of course you need to have the camera way away from your switcher, and you want to do it, well, you don't want to run too many cords, so you decide to go with this right here. So the PowerLink allows you to connect up here, let it go wireless. It turns your camera with PoE, does have the PoE power, so then your camera will then be running off of here, and then of course this sends a signal back to your switcher or wherever. It can be plugged in via DC 12 volt or run on this battery, this small rig battery. And what I understand is you can run this battery, and then if you need to hot swap this battery, you can do that. There's just a very little bit of power inside of this unit that allows you to do the hot swap, but don't take too long or else you're going to run out of juice and your camera's going to turn off. But as you can see, we've got the Ethernet up here. We've got power right here. That's pretty much it. And then, of course, the antennas. So you can send it off opposite field or in another part of, I don't know if you can do it in the convention center. That might be a nightmare to try and get wireless across that far away. But you'll have the options to go from there. And if you need a remote camera, I might even use this for a roaming camera because there is options on there. But you definitely need an Ethernet. There's no HDMI, there's no SDI into here. So you'll most likely be using NDI for that. And of course, they have the Link 4K right above it. And so you'll be able to use that to send from one place to another. Anyway, $499 coming out very soon. This is the PowerLink. And of course, we're here at the SanDisk booth, and we're taking a look at some of these things, especially for some of you that are, more iPhone users, being able to transfer your files off. I know, I have a friend that records a lot of music, and so transferring it sometimes is a pain, but offloading it onto an external drive and then putting it in the computer that way. That saves a lot of time. But this is the ProCinema CFE. This is the ProCinema C Express Type B recorder with MagSafe and CFX Type B memory cards. So basically with this guy, you have the Express card right there. So you could be shooting on your camera, and then this one actually will transfer into the phone, so you can do some checking to make sure that everything's good, color editing, everything like that, and then be able to go and get everything set up and ready for the next shot. So, and as you can see, it's just basically USB-C cable. So if you have an iPhone 16 or better, you should be able to use this one. This one is the Creator Phone SSD. This is an SSD drive. I believe it depends on the size, but you could probably get multiple sizes. But with the MagSafe, you just basically slap it on the back, and then it sticks there. And of course, that USB-C cable allows you to transfer. You just basically, once, if you want to bring files in or take files out, you just basically go to the files area, and you're able to import, export, or whatever. And the last one's pretty straightforward. I've used these for many years. This is the iPhone drive. So basically, it comes out like that, USB-C, plugs right in, and then you can copy your files from there. So SanDisk has been doing this for phones for many years, even back in the Lightning days. So they have a good handle on how to transfer files over from one device to the other. Of course, SanDisk is also, these are not the actual ones, just so you know. But they have up to 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes in the C Express one, and then just regular SD cards up to 2 terabytes, 310 megabits read and 305 megabytes per second write. And of course, these are the sizes down here: the Extreme Pro V30 UHS-1 cards, the UHS-2 cards going down. There's the ProCinema that we just saw. These are the CF Express Type A cards. I can speak today. And then, of course, if you got like security cameras or drones or GoPros, then these are the higher res micro SD cards that go up to 2 terabytes and more. And then a whole bunch more, as you can see, with readers. Extreme Portable, and that I've had these for many years. Transfer speeds up to 1,000 megabits per second, up to 8 terabytes in size. And then we're going to just move to this one right here, which is the Extreme Pro Portable SSD with USB 4. So it's got faster. It's 3,800 megabits per second transfer, and pretty impressed on that. We've got some internal SSDs, like the Optimus GX, which is the one on top, the Optimus GX Pro 8100, down to the 5100 for your storage needs. A disk drive backup right here, up to 4 terabytes with the transfer speeds up to 1,000 megabytes per second, available in 4 terabyte NAND capacities. And then, of course, the disks that we saw throughout there. And that's what's at SanDisk. Here at the ATOMOS booth, check this out. This is the TX Go, which is a small confidence monitor that has a lot of features on it. We're going to turn this around a little bit. You'll see the mic and the line. And then let's move that for a second so you can see the back here. We got antennas and, of course, your HDMI, USB for power, and then, of course, another USB for whatever you need. This does not have SDI on it. And the reason why is because this is the TX Go, and this is the TX, and that's got right there, that's got SDI in it. So if you need something with an SDI connection, you can go from there. But I could see this as a confidence monitor for the camera setup that I have right now instead of using an iPhone. And I'd be able to do a little bit of correction. Everything's on screen touch. So I can see, I can put LUTs on it, I can monitor it, I can check for false color, frame guide, all that other stuff, and be able to adjust it as I go from the device. So that's a great thing right there. Of course, it works perfect with a lot of different DSLRs and regular cameras, all that. And so this one is $799, available now. The other one, the Ninja TX with the SDI connection, is $999 and also available now. Now we're here at the OSEE booth, that's OSEE, and we're taking a look at the GoStream Omni 12 ISO. which has 4K virtual cameras, the alpha overlays, 4 upstream keys, 2 downstream keys, 6 assignable outputs, XLR audio, controls for collaboration, triple streaming, so you can go to three different streaming platforms at once. The broadcast panel, hardware reliability. So you have the preview, you have the program, of course, you have the little fader going back and forth. You can record. There's the on-air button, and then this is ESKs for your media, and a lot more. There's a lot of buttons here. There's 8 inputs, whether it be HDMI or SDI. So you'll be able to do whatever. There's the back of it. We got the 2 XLRs, the Ethernet, the headphones, and a microphone right here. CF Express, I missed that part. And look at that, 3 USB-Cs. They haven't figured out that one yet, but this is for recording and this is for sending it to a PC. And then there's the 8 inputs for that, and then the 2 outputs. And I'm assuming these are 2 SDI outputs as well. All that through there. It's going to be available around July and about 17 to 1900. This is Proton. We see this every year. It's these tiny cameras that are making big shots. So there it is right there. And if we go over here, we can see it on the big screen here. So what we've got in here is the Proton Reigns and with the Proton connector. And that's these cameras right about here. So you can see how small they are. So they're perfect for getting into tight spaces, such as underneath a hood or in a car or anything like that. We also have an overhead shot right here from this Proton. That's the Proton Flex 4K. And as you can see, they're all mounts, the standard mounts, standard lens mounts that allows you to set it up. But of course, you won't have any type of automatic zoom or focus or anything like that with this. But you could definitely have these cameras in very small places. All right, what we got here is the Pico TX. It's the smallest HEVC transmitter for maximum flexibility for your drones. Here's a really tiny drone here. So that is the Pico TXR, the smallest HEVC transmitter for maximum flexibility. Then we've got the Raptor Eye, which is an all-in-one POV camera and HEVC transmitter. And of course, the Raptor R2 a diversity pack right there. So basically, they're showing this little drone right here and how it could actually move around using this. Of course, they're not showing it, but we're seeing an idea here. So this is all from Domo Wave Central. All right, we're over at the YoloLiv booth, and we're taking a look at this right here. This is the YoloLiv Extreme. This is their latest box. As you can see, there I am. And we've got multiple inputs in the back, up to 8 HDMI inputs, a couple outputs, USB-C, and more. It's got a lot of functionality. They just added Stream Deck support. So if you've got a Stream Deck, you can use that. It's got 200 gigabytes of internal storage for recording. It's got BitFocus companion options in there, Illustrate support, the new multi-view adjustments, the LUT support. But of course, you add these into the play, and these are the cameras from YoloLiv. They're the 4K 60 frames a second live streaming cameras. And of course, you've got a full system that can do a lot. You get 8 of them, and you can have like your podcast going, stream and record from there. It also has the ability to invite guests into. So if you do have a show and you're doing a call-in show, they can come in via like a Zoom or an RTMP or an SRT or anything like that. And of course, they also have NDI options as well. But it's all with this, and that's the Extreme from the Yolobox Extreme from YoloLiv. We're here at PlatyPod, and PlatyPod is a modular tripod option. Basically, this is a tripod. This is a tabletop tripod. It's got little adjustable legs. You put your camera on here. You put through the threaded screws. Of course, you can change that all out just if you need to. So if you don't have that thread screw, you have that thread screw. You can move that over, adjust that. They have a lot more, a lot of adapters and accessories for the pod, including things like that. And there's this one right here that allows you to adjust and create the tripod that you're looking for. Here's another adapter right here. This one looks like it attaches to a table, and then you have a MagSafe option on here. So you can have your selfie type thing, maybe for a beauty shot or anything like that. You have a lot of different options. Got more stuff over here as we're seeing a lot of different options. There's another version of that tabletop tripod. And then, of course, braces and adapters, everything that you need to clip up and make whatever with your video. There's something right here that looks like it's not as much for a camera, but something else. I'm not sure exactly what that's for, but we've got a whole bunch of stuff. And that's a PlatyPod. That's PlatyPod, what's called the tripod alternative. All right, this is the RodeLink 2. They announced this last week. Basically what this is their first UHF wireless system. Now, I'm not a big 2.4 gigahertz guy. I like to have UHF. In fact, I'm using UHF right now during this show because sometimes you get into areas where all of a sudden you need to have the interview and you get cut out. But with UHF, it's a little bit more reliable system for you. And look at this. It's a very sturdy, very solid construction because the story is that they are now part of Electrosonics, or Electrosonics is part of them, something like that. The bottom line is that they can now combine technologies. So the first UHF version of this microphone, this is a 2 transmitter, 1 receiver unit, so you can do a one-on-one interview easily. Comes with the antennas, so you can set it up, and then you have extra batteries from there. And with these, they also have the ability with USB-C. This is the receiver right here. The transmitter does have onboard card slots. There's the battery right there. Yeah, there's the card slot right there. So it records 32-bit float. So that means if you start clipping on your audio, this will help fix it. So you have clean audio at the end. So, and of course you have extra battery packs. We see a camera right here that has the receiver on there, so you can see how easy it is to put into your shoots. For me, I just strap it to the side of the tripod. Time code sync, extended runtime, ultra rugged metal design, and it also comes with some professional lavaliers. Let's take a look really quick. These are 3.5 lockable lav microphones. This is $14.99 in all, and it's available soon, so you can check that out over at Rode if you need something a little bit more solid in your wireless systems. Of course, they have the 2.4 gigahertz wireless. They have the Rodecaster. They have all the other stuff there, so you can check that out. But this is new at the show, and I'm going to take a look at this. Hopefully, I'll get it in the studio so we can review it. Now we're at the B&H booth at NAB, and they're showing off this. It's actually a pretty cool desk. Let me take a step back here so you can see it. So it's a full desk, and it's got everything that you need to do any audio or video. It all starts with this. This is the Extreme ISO. Of course, a nice little switcher for your multiple cameras. If you're going past 4 or even 8, you can also record those individually, so you can do post-production from there. And of course, that is $2,195. If we go like this, it kind of feel like the old Wheel of Fortune. But we got one of the microphones right here. This is the Orm Audio $149 microphone on, of course, a table stand. And of course, it is a retro 64 cardioid handheld dynamic microphone. So it's kind of got a cool look to it. So it's something that you could have right in front of your face. And then right up above is the ATEM multi-view. So let's move over here and show you what we've got right here. So we got a small monitor here. That's also plugged into right here. That's an $899 ASUS monitor. We got the Logitech keyboard right here. That's $199.99. And then, of course, we've got the Mevo. That's the Me Start. And this is the Me Core. I don't see prices on that. A little Stream Deck Plus right here. And then this is an iPad. This is the software that runs the Me cameras, the Start and the Core right here. And this is the desk. It's a sit-stand desk, and that's $3,400. You can check that out. Everything's over at B&H, and I'll have links in my notes. Of course, I am a affiliate. All right, we're here over at the ASUS ProArt booth, and we're taking a look at the ProArt system here. We're going to start with the mouse. So we're going to start with the monitor, as we've got a 24.1-inch 1920 by 1200, which is a 16 by 10 monitor. It's RGB with 100 hertz smooth rendering and AE2 color accuracy, and a full widget center for whatever you need. So as you can see, it looks pretty cool. It's being powered by this guy right here. This is the GeForce ProArt RTX 5090 GPU inside of the ProArt computer. And I'm not sure which motherboard that is, but as you can see, it's got more than enough RAM inside there. And then of course that's the GPU, which is got the Blackwell architecture and DLSS 4 in there with Ready Enthusiast GeForce card with double vented backplate and vapor chamber, dual layer axle tech fans, and liquid metal GPU cooling. And of course, it's also got a USB Type-C port on the side, which I don't think we'll be able to see, but that's where we're rendering this. Also, we've got the ProArt keyboard and the ProArt mouse right there. The keyboard has a 26.8 millimeter slim, 65% low profile keyboard for whatever you need. It's actually pretty small. I like that, and lights up as you can. Mouse with swappable switches compatible with micro or optical switches. The Smart Shift wheel for quick page navigation, and 6 programmable buttons, fully customizable via GearLink. Now, this is just one of many of the ProArt computers that they have, laptops, desktops. I use the ProArt system at home, and I like it a lot. And of course, there's been some big innovations since I bought the board. I think I bought the board last year, and so this would be a great upgrade. And of course, it looks really cool, this type of design. Of course, we have all the laptops from the ProArt series, which have touchscreens to them. You can see the pens on there. And of course, this is the ProArt GoPro edition right here. We saw this at CES. It's got an AMD Ryzen processor inside, and then it's got GoPro cameras inside inspired for whatever you need. Maybe you're out on the trails and you want to just do some live streams or something like that. That's what this is perfect for. But of course, ASUS also has several different other types of computers. If you need long-term NAS storage or anything like that, you've got that, or just a system that's getting ready to be implemented for your AI functionality, because they are an NVIDIA partner right there. This is the ESC8000 E12P rack mount. Looks like a 6U rack mount right there. We got storage in the front, of course, a whole bunch of fans. This thing is not going to be quiet. And then there's what we got inside of the case. And once again, that's all at ASUS with their ProArt or anything like that. I always love to end my NAB by going to these booths that actually do have the actor out there. She's a bartender, and then of course playing with some of the cameras that they have. We're here at the Canon booth, for example, and this is the CJ20EX5B IASES camera. And of course, this is something for the professional videographer that's trying to capture the shot, maybe a TV station or something like that. It's got the optical performance to support 4K UHD cameras. It's got an f-stop of 1.8. It's got a 5mm wide angle and a 20x focal range. So it's a great little camera for getting that stuff. And of course, this is a great little camera for getting that stuff too. But it's always fun to play with these things, because then I get to understand how a camera operator works. Like if you look at the camera inside here, let's see if we can get there. There's the viewfinder right there, and we're seeing the scopes and we're seeing everything on there. I can bring it in and I can really play and zoom in and see what's going on. And then of course, if I move up, you could kind of see right there. That's the camera. So I'm going to zoom out and then I'm going to zoom in. That's the camera that I'm working with. You unfortunately are seeing a light glare off of that, but the whole point is that I can really play with this camera and get a good idea of how to use it and see if it's something that I could put into my own production. So lots of fun at NAB. I had a great time, and now I'm going to play for a couple hours before I head back. I had a very short trip here at NAB, so we had a lot of great stuff. I hope you found some of it useful. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below over at geek.com or youtube.com/ where you can like, subscribe, and of course hit that bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. Until next time, my name is Jeffrey Powers. You guys geek out and check out all the cool audio video gear at NAB 2026 as we watch her cut. I think she's cutting limes. She's doing limes. I think it's limes. Geek out, folks.